start off by saying, Jack and I were talking about stunts. We do all of our own stunts on this program, and
Absolutely.
there are no doubles. This is the real deal here. Speaking of real deal, Jack is quite the comedian. Can I say that? And I figured we should kick off with a little bit of some fun.
Okay. Well, because we're talking about innovation and grants and etc., there's this fertilizer salesman. He's driving in farm country, stopping in to see the farmers trying to sell fertilizer. And as he's driving down the road, this chicken pulls up beside him. No matter how much he speeds up, he can't catch the chicken. So the chicken finally pulls into a farmer's yard, and he pulls in, he says to the farmer, "Boy, that's one fast chicken." The farmer says, "Yes, through research, development, and innovation, we've created chickens with 6 legs." The fertilizer salesman said, "How do they taste?" Farmer says, "I don't know, we never caught one."
Okay, so the fact that you have a research and development joke on hand is fabulous. So congratulations on that, Jack. But so that is actually going to bring us to our next segment today. And that's really talking about figuring out whether or not you as an entrepreneur or a business are eligible to take part in our programming. So I'm going to have Jack kick us off with the SR&ED grant and what makes a company or I guess a project eligible.
Well, one of the misconceptions is that you've got to be trying to do something innovative that you're the only one in the world. That is absolutely not the case.
Okay.
As long as what you're doing is not already common knowledge, status quo, industry standard, you can apply. And if you happen to have a patent, you're almost always eligible. The reason is you got to do something unique to get a patent. You need to do something somewhat unique to get the SR&ED grant. Every industry is eligible as long as they're doing something innovative. The 2 industries that are never eligible is wholesale or retail, because they're not doing anything innovative. They're bringing in something and just reselling it.
Right.
One example where sometimes it's eligible and sometimes it isn't is construction as an industry.
Okay.
A lot of construction companies build a house exactly the same way as every other construction company. There's no eligibility there. But if you're doing something somewhat different, solar panels, fireproof drywall, then there's eligibility. But as I said, as long as you're doing something innovative and it's not already common knowledge, you're more than likely eligible.
Do you have an example, Jack? Maybe something super different that was, I don't want to call it shocking. Drama. Shocking that it was in fact innovative when maybe to the untrained eye that person would have never known?
Yeah. The best example of that is IT software.
Okay.
A lot of people think IT software is IT software. Everything that can be developed has been developed. The new area, of course, is AI. And the government really likes AI for the SR&ED grant. But if it's just basic IT software, it still can have innovation in it. The government doesn't expect you to be Microsoft and know everything there is to know. So, we had a company doing databases. Well, your immediate thought might be, well, what's innovative about that? What's not already been done? Well, they had come up with a sorting method that really was different than anybody else in the way you could do inquiries and find out certain things that others weren't doing. And so even though it was IT software, it got approved. In fact, about 30% of the claims applications we do are IT software, or ones that the average person would think, well, there's nothing innovative there. What we do is, if you do want to apply, we do the whole application, but what we do is we take a look at it to determine whether you're eligible or not, and we look at what it is exactly what you did, and then we check to make sure it isn't common knowledge, and if it isn't, you're likely eligible.
So essentially, don't just assume because you might be leaving money on the table.
Right.
Go get some advice.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's exactly it, is we don't want to waste anybody's time.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our process is to have a discussion with you, send you some yes/no questions, have a discussion with you, and then we have a much better idea if you're eligible or not, and then we can have a real discussion, once an NDA is in place, of course.
About the details, etc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but I want to stress that according to CRA SR&ED, they feel across Canada, over 60% of companies that could be eligible do not apply because they either don't know about the grant or they don't think they're eligible. And the grant still gives out about $4 billion a year.
Wow.
So we've said this several times, but do not assume that you're not eligible, at least until you have a discussion.
Well, if that's not a call to action, I don't know what is.
All that is required is about an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time. SR&ED consultants, including us, fill out the application, defend it if there's a review required, all that kind of stuff. So it's not like it's going to take you a huge amount of your time.
Right.
And that's kind of the basic reason companies use SR&ED consultants. A SR&ED consultant knows the exact wording that CRA SR&ED is looking for, and they ensure that wording is in there. If the government does want to do a review, they defend. So obviously you can do it yourself. It's a very complex application, but you can do it yourself. However, for the amount of time that's required from you and your employees, it really is better to get an expert to do it. Now, many times the first question we get asked is, okay, so how do you guys get compensated?
Mm-hmm.
Different SR&ED companies get paid in different manners. We are a success-based only SR&ED consultant. We charge you absolutely nothing up front or during the process, and if we get you nothing, which rarely happens, but if we get you nothing, you owe us nothing. But we take a percentage of the amount that we get you. And most SR&ED consultants, are flexible as the dollar amount goes up that we're going to get you. The percentage we charge you goes down. But in most cases, if it's 100,000 or less, it's 20% of what we get you. And if it's more than that, it goes all the way down, right down to 8 to 10% if it's over $1 million. So just, based on the fact that it's complex to fill out, if you get declined, you're declined. You can apply next year, but if you get declined, you're declined. And, for the amount of your time it takes, it just makes more sense to use a consultant.
Yeah, what's your time worth, folks?
Yeah.
That's the big question today.
Yes.
And just I know this is a really good percentage, so I want to close this out with this. But what percentage of claims does your firm get approved, Jack?
Okay. Thank you for asking.
Because I know it's a good number.
Yeah. We've been doing this grant since 2011. It's the only grant we do. We do about 300 a year, and we are 99.8% successful. Since 2011, we've only had 9 declined, and none in the last 3 years. The reason for that is we're really black and white. You're either eligible or you're not, and if you're not, we don't try and make you eligible.
And as you can tell, they're good at what they do. Comedy is the second feature but really great at their core competencies. So that's fantastic, Jack. Thank you for sharing.
Well, and the other thing that we do, we have an associate that does every grant other than SR&ED, about 130 grants in total. So whether you're SR&ED eligible or not, if you want to know every other grant that you might be eligible for, we introduce you to our partner, for lack of a better word.
I love that. I love that. It's just people helping people.
Yes.
And that's what we're here to do. I think we have to say goodbye, though, for now.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that in this podcast, you'll see contact information for myself as the SVP and co-founder, and a lady by the name of Allison Johnson, who is our manager of business development. You get a hold of either one of us, and then we'll take you through the process.
And they will. I've seen them do it. So thanks, Jack.
You're welcome.
Thanks, friends.